Okay, so you think you're ready to buy a house. You've talked to friends about it, you've talked to family about it, you've seen the advertisements on TV. You've been surfing the web a little bit and checking out what's available in the area, and you think it's time to buy a house. So what's the first logical step? You've looked on the web, you've seen what the various real estate companies and the various real estate websites have to offer, and you think there's some that are of interest. And with each listing, there's usually a picture of a listing agent and a phone number next to it. It says, call me, I'll show you the house. Come on in. Is that the best way to handle things? Well, I'm here to tell you that no, that is not necessarily the best way to handle things. If you're going to be looking at a number of different properties, and you probably are, you're not going to buy the first one you look at inside. It really is best to have a buyer's agent working for you. Have that buyer's agent help you find the properties. Have that buyer's agent set up the appointments. Have that buyer's agent, once you find the right property for you, that buyer's agent will write the purchase contract to protect your interests, not those of the seller. That buyer's agent will make arrangements for the home inspections, the whole house inspection, the septic inspection, the well inspection if there is one, termite, lead-based, mold, any number of inspections that are available that you can get for before you purchase your new home. And of course, that buyer's agent also will arrange for the title work and the closing of escrow, and coordinate all that with your lender of choice. Now, you might be saying, well, I'm not sure that I really think I need a buyer's agent or want a buyer's agent, because aren't I going to get a better deal, a better price, if I just go to the listing agent? It's his listing or her listing. They know about the property, and they know what can be negotiated. Well, here's a little bit of information. The listing agent, if the listing agent is also representing the buyer, then that agent becomes a dual agent. In the state of Ohio, that's dual agency. And you will have signed a form saying you understand that this is a dual agency situation. And in dual agency, the agent cannot do anything to put you at an advantage over the seller, or the seller at an advantage over you. You have to treat both clients honestly and fairly, and disclose any information that you know about the property to either party. In other words, a dual agent facilitates the transaction, but a dual agent does not, repeat, does not negotiate the transaction. A dual agent cannot negotiate or advocate on behalf of either party. A dual agent simply facilitates the transaction. That's not all bad necessarily, but it's really best if a buyer can have a buyer's agent working for them, and that buyer's agent has a fiduciary responsibility to the buyer, has a legal and ethical responsibility to the buyer to protect the buyer's best interests, not those of the seller. Now, that being said, well, yeah, but if I'm going to get some advantage as a buyer by having a buyer's agent work for me, isn't it going to cost me something? And the answer is a resounding no. And oh, no, it is not going to cost you any additional. And here's why. When a seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, want to put their property on the market, and they want to sell it, they enlist the services of a listing agent, a real estate agent typically, and when they put that on the market, the listing agent puts that home in what we call the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service, which is typically owned and operated by the local Board of Realtors. The Board of Realtors has some rules set up whereby if I, as a listing agent, put a property into the MLS, I have to offer all of the other agents out there, all the buyer's agents out there, and all the seller's agents out there, I have to offer those agents compensation. And I put that right in the listing agreement, and I put that right in the MLS property description for the buyer's agent. That yes, I am offering compensation for that buyer's agent to bring a buyer to the table. Not to sell it at any certain price, not to sell it at any certain time or any certain terms and conditions. The price, the timing, all the terms and conditions are decided between the seller and the buyer. But the two real estate agents involved facilitate the transaction, each representing the interests of their own client, buyer or seller, and typically the fee paid by the seller to the seller's agent is then split, typically 50-50, but not always, typically 50-50 with the buyer's agent. The fact remains, a buyer is not going to get a better deal necessarily by going with and utilizing the services of the seller's agent, because the seller's agent already has an agency agreement with the seller saying that he or she is going to protect their best interests, not those of a customer that might come along. And in the case of dual agency, if they do represent both parties, end up representing both parties, then they can't advocate or negotiate on behalf of either party. So again, my best advice, and not only me, but I think most other real estate agents out there, when you're ready to buy, or you think you're ready to buy, go ahead and identify, locate, and meet with and talk with a local real estate agent who is an expert in that local market that you're interested in purchasing a home, and see if the two of you click, see if you can develop a relationship with that person. It should be a great experience. The thing that I've really enjoyed over the years in selling real estate is not necessarily the sale. Yeah, I get paid at the end. But what I really appreciate, what I really enjoy, is making the whole process a stress-free, low anxiety, easy process for my buyers or sellers. We don't always get the right home purchased. We don't always get the home sold. It doesn't always happen. Yes, some of them expire on the market. Some of them don't sell right away. Sometimes we don't find that home in the right price range in that neighborhood. But at least the process that we use throughout the home buying and the home selling process should be as low an anxiety process as possible. Thanks for stopping by and seeing another one of Herb Sells videos. I look forward to seeing you again.